Hello, welcome to another session of the Mother Talks. So today we are joined by the lovely Laura, mum to Magnus, and here to talk to us about her home birth journey and how she got to the decision of having a home birth and her experience with it. So I actually met Laura while you were pregnant, didn't I? So
Yeah.
we did
Yeah.
preparing to parent, was it, or nurturing bump to baby course.
Yeah.
And I can't quite remember if you'd already made the decision for a home birth when I met you, or whether that was something that came later. Whenabouts did you come to the decision of home birth?
It was really quite early on. I had my initial midwife appointment, and it was something that I'd always kind of thought about. I had two friends that had home births within the last year. And it was always kind of in the back of my mind as something I wanted to explore. So when the initial 8-week consultation with the midwife came up, she was one of the Chesil midwives from Dorchester, and we had a chat, and she said, here's a little leaflet about home birth. If that's something you want to look into. This is all the information. So I kind of made that self-referral after I'd met with her. And one of the things I absolutely loved was just all the appointments were done from home. So it was actually really handy. Yeah, great. So from there on, really, and my work were really flexible. I could work from home. I had my laptop. So the midwives would say, we'd be there between a certain time slot of 2 hours. So I just say, I've got a midwife appointment sometime this morning. I'm just going to work from home. Then I'll have my appointment. Then I'll come into work. So that really worked for me. And I think for me, with conceiving, we had a bit of difficulty because I've got endometriosis and polycystic ovaries, so not great. So for me, conceiving was quite difficult. It took about 4 years. And then, so obviously, as for anyone, you obviously want a healthy and safe arrival of your baby. So one of the things when considering a home birth as well is kind of looking at all of those risk factors and everything. So I had my first midwife appointment with Julie, who was then my midwife throughout the duration. Absolutely love her, love her to pieces, still see her now. And she kind of came into the house, was greeted by our cat, and kind of sat down with both of us and said, this is home birth, this is what we do, we come to your home, and it's all, completely up to you what you'd like, music choices, if you want to use essential oils, if you want a pool. So it was kind of left to us to devise our own kind of little birth plan, really. We kind of went through some initial discussions around different things, any worries, and obviously one of the biggest things is obviously the safety and everything like that. So she kind of put our minds at ease around all of that. So from the get-go, I was really convinced on everything she had to say. She had three children of her own, and I was like, amazing. And she was like, you'll be absolutely fine. So my confidence initially was within her and that team, and it just grew and grew throughout every meeting that we had. So yeah, amazing.
And I do think as well, we are exceptionally lucky because in the area that we live in, we have a super high home birth rate and a really incredible team. So I've got friends who work as midwives up and down the country, and I do think everyone kind of looks at our team a bit in awe because they are amazing. And I hear that a lot, like even if people are a bit on the fence or they're thinking about it as a first option, once they've had a chat to them, their confidence is just built, isn't it? It's just, they're very much like, yes, I feel confident in this now. But did you find that with your husband, with Ash, did you find that he was on board with it straight away, or did that take a bit more kind of like discussing and talking?
Yeah, I think, well, initially, I remember we went out for one of our friends' birthdays, and I was like 3 weeks pregnant, so hadn't told anyone. We just found out, and we went out, and I was sat talking to one of my friends, Colleen, and she was just chatting away, and I was talking about her little one, and she'd had her on her bathroom floor with the home birth team. So she decided she didn't want to call or anything, and she wanted to be at home. And we just kind of naturally got onto the topic. Obviously, she didn't know I was pregnant, but she was just chatting away, and what she said was just amazing. And it just, you know, just kind of just gives you goosebumps when you hear firsthand someone's story. And it was just like, you know, she was cleaning the house, she was making spaghetti bolognese, and she rang the midwife and she was like, right, I think something's happening now, and then ended up having her on her bathroom floor. And I just thought it was such an amazing story. So, you know, her husband was there as well, so he was kind of talking to Ash, and Ash was asking questions and things. So I don't know if they kind of guessed from what the questions we were asking, maybe we knew. So when we went home and stuff, I said, oh, you know, I'd really like that. That really appeals to me, you know, being in the comfort of your own home, not having to worry about anything, just having someone on standby, you know, the midwives obviously when you need them, and just being able to just relax and just go at your own pace and not having to worry about rushing to hospital, getting the car seat, getting everything else that kind of comes with that. So he was kind of on board with it from that perspective. And as soon as we met Julie and we kind of chatted through in that initial meeting, like I say, everything, she just kind of put our mind at ease. He asked a couple of questions, and they're perfectly qualified to do numbers of procedures and things like that. So, you know, they go above and beyond for their job role. So we were both really confident in that. And then I guess as the meetings go on, you kind of build up the relationship with your midwife. So I was really lucky to have Julie throughout the duration. And then when it came to the home birth meetings, I think it's the first Thursday of every month they meet at the Children's Centre in Dorchester. That was really lovely because we built up this relationship with Julie. And then we went to these meetings. We were going once a month because two of my other friends were also having home births at the same time as me. So one was in front of me and one was behind me. So we always just meet up on every month on a Thursday, go for dinner, then we'd go to the home birth groups, and then you got to meet all of them as well. So it was really lovely because, you know, from the start, Julie said, you know, as much as, you know, you're my lady, you're one of mine. If I'm not able to be there for your delivery, there will be another person from the team. Which, you know, at the time I was a bit like, oh, I really want you, Julie, I really need you. But then when we went to the home birth meetings, like, you know, just every single one of those midwives, and like any midwife, just an absolutely amazing person. And, you know, whenever I see any of them, I just feel so emotional when you see them, don't you? It's just incredible. So we went to the meetings, and every week, every month there's a topic. So, you know, one week they did it about slings, they had birth pools and things like that. And it was just really nice to just chat to them. And, you know, there was no pressure. There was people that had babies before that brought them back and kind of talked about their experience. So from the get-go, you know, we were really convinced.
And I think that continuity of care as well, because we are lucky with our teams within the area and our community midwives as well, and in the hospital. But I do think there is something, well, there's something actually really scientific behind it, where if you've got a stranger observing you and watching you, it can hinder your birthing hormones. So when you've built up that rapport with somebody and you trust that person, you're going to feel a lot more relaxed, which means you're going to produce more oxytocin, and you're going to progress through your labour. Not that you're more likely to kind of progress through your labour in that way than if you had kind of loads of eyes on you just staring at you that you don't know. And I think that's it with home birth. You've built that relationship. And not that I had a hospital birth, and a wonderful one, but home birth it was kind of mentioned once. It was one question: do you want a home birth or a hospital birth? And then it was never talked about again to me. And this was 6 years ago, 6 and a bit years ago. So it wasn't really, the team wasn't, how it is now. And I did, I just said hospital, but I do really think that with, getting that, they kind of, from what I hear from other people, they're really good at observing from a distance and almost not being, just leaving you to it very much in your own home, in your own space. So I have friends that were like, they just were in the kitchen, just having a little look around. And I just think the thought of that is so beautiful, just being in that moment, instead of kind of clinical. But I mean, I had a clinical one and I loved it, so I'm no way dismissing it. But that would really appeal to me. And
I think for me, I was a little bit worried because as the weeks went on, I kind of passed my due date, And it was getting to the point where I was a bit like, am I going to have to be booked in for an induction? And obviously people that I know have had inductions, and that obviously shared stories. Yeah, and you kind of, it's hard not to welcome that fear. And you know, I was having like almost, I think every couple of days Julie was kind of in touch and coming round and assessing and things, and you know, she didn't put any pressure on me. We didn't talk about induction to begin with, so kind of, and then I kind of brought it up and I said, you know, we're on day 6 or whatever of being overdue now, like, do I need to think about being induced, or what would happen? That means I wouldn't be able to be at home. So that was a worry for me, but at the same time, throughout the whole process, I was very open-minded about the whole situation. So part of me was, I'd like to have a home birth, but if I can't, that's absolutely fine. I'm still going to be looked after. I'm still going to be, you know, everything's going to be fine. Baby will be fine. And I obviously did your course, which really helped me with hypnobirthing. And then I had some of my Yes Mum hypnobirthing cards, which I absolutely loved. So every day I had a little card on my little table, and it said like, my baby knows exactly when it needs to be born, and all of those, you know, positive affirmations, like everything's beyond my control. So, you know, Julie was really great when I went overdue as well, because that was one of my worries. And, you know, we just kind of took it each day as it came. And then she mentioned about having a stretch and sweep, and I was just like, yeah, just whatever needs to be done, let's just do it. Actually it was absolutely fine. It actually relieved quite a lot of pressure. And then, so I said to her before, I said, oh, do I need to ring my husband and say, come home from work? And she's like, oh, no, it'll be fine. So she kind of did stretch and sweep, and I was 1 center dilated already. So she was like, oh, okay, something's beginning to happen here. So at that point I was like, oh, okay, you know, maybe I still can have my home birth, that's fine. You're obviously advised to pack a hospital bag just in case you do need to go in at any point. So that was kind of all ready for me. And then after Julie left, so this was on day 8, I had a little nap because I was really tired.
Have a nap.
And then I woke up and it was like 5:30, and I text Ash and I was like, oh, can you bring home Wagamama please, because I'm like really hungry. I'm pregnant. So and overdue. So he went to Wagamama, ordered Wagamama for me, and then I rang him back probably 20 minutes later, and I was like, oh, I've just sat up in bed and I think my water's broke. And he was like, what? So I then rang Dorchester Hospital. You go through it on the normal birth line and said, I think my waters are broken. They kind of were like, did you wee yourself? And I was like, I think, and I explained, and she was like, yeah, that's your waters, that's fine. So then all they do is they then call the midwife who's on call for the home birth team, which was Ali, because Julie was assisting one of her ladies at another birth. So at that point, so I think my waters broke around 6 o'clock. Never got the Wagamama because Ash just came straight home because he thought something was going to happen. So he's still really annoyed about that, like 3 years on. Like we paid 40 quid for Wagamama and never got it back.
I feel like they should have given you some vouchers or something for that. Maybe we should tag Wagamamas in this and be like,
yeah, maybe that's a good idea. So then he said, you know, should I come home? Do I just get home like straight away? And I was like, oh yeah, I think you might need to. So anyway, he came straight home. Then Ali was literally probably about an hour or so afterwards, and I wasn't really feeling anything. I was just kind of aware that contractions were happening. I wasn't any in discomfort or anything like that. So I was just kind of, you know, stuck Harry Potter on. Let's get through all of these films and see how long it takes. So I had Harry Potter on, and I was on my birthing ball, and then Ali turned up, and then things were kind of cranking up a little bit. So she kind of said, you know, would you like me to inspect you? So I said, oh yeah, I really like to know how far along I am, and I was only 2 centimetres, so I was like, no.
So yeah, see, it's really hard because vaginal examinations are one of those things that it can be disheartening for so many people if you feel like, I've done so many hours, this is ramping up, this is going to be something soon. But it's so hard because a lot of the time it's not a massive gauge on what's going to happen in the next 10 minutes.
No, and it absolutely wasn't. And you know, by the time I'd had him, and it was, yeah, I was not really that upset about it, but I was a bit like, oh, okay, great. But then again, I wasn't really feeling anything, so I had a lot of pain in my back. I didn't really have anything at the front, so my back was really hurting. So Ali said, oh, tell you what, let's give you 2 paracetamol if you want them, and then I'll give you a TENS machine for your back. Did not get on well with the TENS machine. I just electrocuted my hands. I was trying to peel it off. I was like, oh my god, what's this?
I didn't try one in labour, but I did try one kind of beforehand, and yeah, I was just like, how does this work? And I know loads of people say it really helps, but I just was like, oh, this is not comfortable at all.
No. And then I just found the most comfortable place for me was in the bathroom. So I literally just stayed in the bathroom on the toilet and just waited for every now and again Ali would just come and say, are you okay, everything all right? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm just, you know. And then I was kind of getting really bad back pain, but I really didn't want to get in the pool because I read quite a lot about, you know, it can stop your contractions because you become too relaxed. So I was like, I need to save that. So she suggested having like a shower, which did help. Yeah. And then things started ramping up a little bit more, so she kind of stayed for a little bit, and then I can't remember the technique, but she did like a back massage on me and just kind of like with my hips, and it was amazing. So she showed Ash how to do that, and then she got a call to say there was someone else that she needed to go attend to, so she then went off, which I thought I'd be more phased about than I was. And actually, it was absolutely fine. She said, look, you know, I'm a call away, just call the Dorchester number and they'll call me straight back. So I wasn't worried about that. So she went off, and then Ash at that point was like, so this is probably like 2.5 hours in. And he was like, right, I'm going to go to the shop. I'm going to get you energy drinks and cereal bars and all of this stuff. So he went off to the shop, and then, so I was completely on my own at home. And I remember being sat upstairs on the bed, and then I started having like the urge to push. And I was on my own, and I was like, you know, just like, what's happening here? And there was like no one around, and my mum was adamant that I was going to call her because obviously being at home, there's not a restriction on who you can have at the birth. So at that point, it did run through my mind like, oh my god, I need my mum. But then I was like, no, it's all fine, it's all good. This is, you know, it's all natural, it's all supposed to happen. So I just kind of laid back and just every time a contraction came, I was kind of sat on the end of the bed with the cat and then just laid back down again. And then Ash came with all the cereal bars and energy drinks, and I was like, I think I'm pushing. And he was like, what? In his face, he was like, what's happening?
He's like, I popped out for a minute. What happened?
Yeah. Literally. So at this point, it was like 10:30, and I was like, I think we might need to call Ali back. So then we rang Ali, and then she was seeing someone else, and she just said, you know, just keep doing your breathing. You know, can you feel anything like down below? And I was like, no. I was like, you know, I'm not crowning or anything. Like it's bearable. I said, but it's just my back's really hurting. So she said, right, why don't you go and sit in the pool and just see how you feel. So at that point, I went downstairs, and then she finished with her other person, but she was in Bridport, so she did have to travel from Bridport to Weymouth. But you kind of lose all concept of time, don't you, when you're in labour? Like I wasn't really aware of the timings or how long everything was.
And that's a really positive part about doing hypnobirthing and breathing techniques and being within your body, because
in the moment.
Yeah, you're just switching your mind off. And I had serious time distortion as well. And I can remember saying something to my mum and saying, oh yeah, because that was only about 5 or 7 minutes, like that, wasn't it? She was like, it was an hour and a half, Cora. It's like, what? How was that an hour and a half? I was just like, it wasn't that long. And it's just because you just quieten in your conscious mind so much, don't you, to focus on what's happening within your body and writing it. You just don't take in any unnecessary information like that. You just don't need to, do you just need to do what you're doing.
And I think because there was no one, because obviously being at home, there was no one popping in, there was no other midwives coming in, there was no bright lights. It was all kind of, you know, the cottage was all lit dimly. We had fairy lights, candles and things like that, which, you know, I really loved, just being able to have like the telly on or music of my choice. Like I really loved that as well. So and you know, just being able as well to just walk around your house butt naked because you can. And I think And I think that was one of the moments that did make me laugh was so Ali was on her way, and then I then chose to go down to Ash fill the pool up. So we done like a trial run of how long it took to fill the pool up, because obviously you've got to take that into account with your water flow and everything, and obviously the tools that you need. So we done a practice run, we timed it to a T. That was his job. His job was to get the pool ready, make sure it's temperature, get everything sorted. So by the time he filled the pool up, I then was like, right, I need to get in it now. I really need to get in it. And I walked downstairs, and obviously at this point I'd only had 2 paracetamol, because that's the other thing with pain relief. They take the nozzles for the gas and air Ventanox with them, so you're not actually left with those, because they need to monitor how much obviously you consume. So I wasn't able to have any of that, but I didn't feel like I needed it at all. I guess again that's another benefit of hypnobirthing, is I've just felt completely in control of my breathing and everything. So by the time I walked down the stairs, I just took off like my dressing gown, I was butt naked, and Ali walked through the door, and I was like, hello, I think it's happening now.
It's weird how, but the thing is I think as a society we're quite modest, aren't we?
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's like when you go to swimming pools and things, and like I'd never be like one of those women that kind of get naked in front of everyone, but at that point I was just like, you know what, doesn't care. I don't care.
and actually seeing it as the point is like, that's their job, that's what they see nearly every single day. So
yeah,
it's not going to be, it's weird, but you let go of all of that when you're in labour, or most of the time. I do know some people who have like done cover-ups, but I very much have to admit, it's just like I think I had like a vest top on, and it started to irritate me. It was just like another layer of being warm. And like your temperature rises, isn't it? Like, just, get it off.
I know, my mum would be a new like tankini, and she's like, oh, you can wear this top bit in the pool, and I like got in the pool, and my Ash was like, do you want to wear that? I was like, I just don't want anything on me, just like nothing. But it was so nice just being in the kitchen and just like relaxing. And then I think at that point so it's about 12:30 at this point, so he was born at 1:35, so I was literally an hour away from actually having him. So that was obviously the next time I saw Ali, and it was absolutely fine. She kind of came, monitored me, didn't feel the need to vaginally assess me or anything like that. So she just said, look, you're in full established labour, everything's flowing, I'm going to call for my second. They then had quite a busy night that night, so we had someone from the ward, I think it's a lady called Becky, so she turned up because they had to have 2 midwives with them for the delivery. And I just remember just being in the pool, and I felt like I didn't really say anything, and I didn't feel like anyone was talking, but Ash and Ali were just talking in the background, and I was just kind of silent, just like every contraction obviously just making a bit of noise, and then just felt completely calm, like by the whole experience, really reassured by the fact that she was there, and I was like, right, this is it, let's do this. And then we lived in Chickrell, and they turn all the street lights off at like 1 o'clock in the morning, so when Becky was coming from, I don't think she was from Weymouth, so she was trying to find our cottage in Chickrell with the pitch black. So that ended up being a little bit difficult, because we were trying to give her instructions, but then at the same time Ali couldn't leave me because Magnus was coming out. So Ash had to run out and try and find her. So he directed her to go to the Turk's Head car park, and then he was going to signal her from there. At that point I then started crowning when he left the house.
I was going to say, that adrenaline through his body, like if I miss this, it's like
I know, and you just think like, all that time that it took us to actually conceive, and then the most important bit, the actual birth of the baby, but in reality he was literally just outside the window, and it was probably 2-3 minutes if that. So but that felt really weird, because I felt like he's gone for ages, and me and Ali were kind of joking. I was just like, yeah, I think he really needs to be here for this bit now. And then I just remember just being really just so calm, like complete opposite to what I thought I was going to be. And you obviously watch these programs like One Every Minute, and obviously it's also dramatized, but obviously that one isn't, but other things are dramatized, like Call the Midwife and things like that. And I just had a completely different preconception of myself, of what I actually was. And I was actually really proud of that, because I was like, oh my God, I really surprised myself. But again, I think it was that environment and the preparation with the hypnobirthing, everything that kind of, it all just kind of came together. And Magnus knew what he was doing, which obviously helped. I didn't need any intervention. So I guess, you know, I was just incredibly lucky. And then he was born at like 1:35. And it was quite funny because he got kind of tangled around my leg. So I was in the pool and Ali was like, oh, do you want to lift your baby up? And I was like, I can't find him. He's like tangled around my legs.
Did you do the whole take him out really slowly out of the water?
Yeah, it was so beautiful.
It's such kind of mind-blowing moment though, isn't it, watching your baby?
Yeah.
But
and he just kind of Ali put her hands under mine once she kind of found out where he was, and then we just gradually lifted him to the top, and he just kind of looked, and you could see him, and he was just kind of looking around like, hi, and then just put him on me, and then and I just thought he was going to feed straight away, but he was just so inquisitive, and like he's obviously not changed that. He's just like serious FOMO all the time, and he just wanted to see everything that was going on. He was just kind of looking around. Then Ash cut the cord, which he didn't really want to do, but he did it with Ali's help and Becky, and then that was the birth bit done. Really, it was just kind of really surreal, and you know, amazing that I had him at home. And then I had the next bit, which was the placenta, which I really didn't want to see. I was not looking forward to that bit, because it's kind of overlooked a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, I have a bit of an issue with not with placentas, with the lack of information about placentas. So I was scared of placentas when I wasn't scared of birth, but what I didn't understand is no one talked about it. You never saw it on One Born Every Minute. You never saw it on any of the birth videos. So for me, it was the unknown, and I felt that educating myself, I felt that was preparation for me in my pregnancy. But I couldn't really find a lot of visual. I think now is different. I think, you know, there's always stuff being added, and now that there is a lot of things out there. But I even have people now that contact me and say that they've done kind of complete birth preparation courses, and they don't talk about the placenta. And I'm like, but it's a stage of birth.
Yeah.
And it's a bit and I do think it's interesting, because it's I struggle. So if anyone's out there who finds a beautiful video of someone birthing a placenta, please tell me, because I always try and find videos of that to share with my clients, because I think it's just important they kind of know what happens. And when I teach it, that's what gets the most questions, is the placenta questions.
It's really bizarre. And obviously you get told about the injection and different things like that and kind of help deliver it, but they were quite keen to, obviously, if I could do it naturally, I could do it naturally. Sometimes breastfeeding helped, but Magnus just wasn't interested in feeding at all. He was just too busy going like what's going on. And at that point I was just I've been in the pool about 15 minutes maybe, and I was just getting a bit like, I need to get out, like I'm a bit cold and just not feeling it anymore. So we went and I laid on the sofa and I had the injection, and then, you know, I came out, everything was fine. Just didn't want to see it. I was like, just take it away. I know it's amazing organ, but I don't want to see it, thanks. And then I think for me the thing with home birth was not just the preparation with your midwife and everything like that on the lead up to it, and the birth itself is obviously a massive momentous occasion, but I think obviously a lot of things that get overlooked with birth is that aftercare. And for me, the aftercare from that team was absolutely phenomenal. And even from the second that I'd had him, obviously they're interested to make sure that he's well, he's safe and he's happy. So they weighed him, they made sure I fed him, that, we could also put nappies and clothe him and everything like that. So he was all done. And then I was then feeling a little bit uncomfortable. So they then said, let's have a look at you. And I was really lucky I didn't need any stitches, which was another fear of mine, because, obviously after you've done all of that, if you have to have stitches, that's a little bit, I guess just, I'm not really sure on the pain either, because a lot of people said that was more painful than the birth. And I was a bit like,
and this is the thing, what you're told throughout your pregnancy, really, or before, just at any time in your life, it really stays with you. And I feel like those are the times it comes up, which is why it's almost like those are the things that we've got to work on before we give birth, because those are the bits that really come up. And I have to admit, I was very much like, oh, I just don't want to be touched anymore. Like, I wasn't overly touched or anything, but your body just feels so depleted, doesn't it? It's just done this momentous thing, and you're like, oh, yeah, just don't fuck with me.
That's exactly it. But I mean, after that bit, after I kind of didn't need stitches, I needed to just go sort myself out. I really needed a wee. I was a little bit scared of like going to the toilet. I was like, I'm not sure what's going to happen. So Ali came with me, and I just never forget, I was kind of sat on the toilet, and I was just kind of like, whoa, what just happened? And I remember I had like a little bit of blood like on my legs, and she kind of just got like a baby wipe, and she just really gently just wiped me down, and she like brushed my hair, and she held my hand, and like I literally just, it makes me want to cry just talking about it. And she was like, you just had a baby, you're amazing. Like, it was just the most beautiful moment. And I think I learned the other day that midwife means with woman, and I just think that's so beautiful. And that moment where, you know, she was with me, and Ash was having skin to skin with Magnus, and they were fine, and just having that one-on-one with, you know, up until that point I barely knew her, and then she just experienced the most amazing moment in my life, and it's incredible.
Who you have support you in birth, and the respect for your choices, and them respecting your choices, is going to stay with you for the rest of your life. And I think what I hear quite a bit of, and I feel like the conversation's changing a little bit within this, it's like, all that matters is a healthy baby. I was told that so much in my pregnancy. I thought, no, what matters is how you feel about it as well. Yes, of course, we're always going to want a healthy baby, but that kind of goes without being said. But your experience and how you were made to feel and how you were supported is up there, because it's with you for the rest of your life. And like you said, it gave me goosebumps when you said about her holding your hands on the toilet. That moment, I really remember that moment, and it's just, there's something so connected, which is weird, because to us there's something so connected with that person, as then you're like, but they do that all the time for people, don't they? Like, it's their job. But somehow you just feel like they're that special person for you, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. You just feel like you're the only person in that moment, and it was just absolutely just beautiful, really, that moment. And that's something that I'll always remember from the experience. And then going forward with the birthing aftercare as well, they were absolutely amazing. They came and, sorry, I just need to charge.
Okay.
They were absolutely amazing with coming to see us. So that's one of the other things, is when you're at home, it's not like on the labour ward, you are then just left at home. So they made sure that we were okay and everything was fine, and obviously sorted me out, went to bed with tea and toast. Classic. And then I just remember Magnus went to sleep straight away, and Ash was obviously knackered. And you just kind of sit there and just like can't stop staring at your baby. To the point that I was just so tired the next day, because obviously everyone had come round to see him, which was lovely, because you've got it's kind of good and bad. In a way, you've got unlimited access to visitors. So I suppose in a bad way, everyone can feel like they can come round and see you, which, you know, you kind of have to monitor those visitors. I'm
a bit torn with visitors afterwards, because I did enjoy a certain number of visitors, but I also think that it really depends on your birth journey. And even if, just like both of us had really positive, empowering experiences, what your body has physically done, it takes a while. Like you do feel like you've run a marathon, your body starts to ache, you feel like, you know, bit like movements are sometimes a struggle in the first couple of days, aren't they? Just like walking up the stairs, because acid in your legs has built up during your labour. And I think it's but also mentally, I think it is like, bam, you're a parent. And sometimes you have loads of people coming in, it can just get a bit blurry. And I think each their own. If you feel good, if it makes you feel good, people coming and seeing you, then that's what you do, or that's the choice you make. But never be afraid to change your mind and ask people to leave or to cancel plans. So whenever I make plans to go and see a newborn, and it's very rare, I normally wait 2 or 3 weeks, if I'm honest, just because, I mean, I suppose I'm not the same. I see babies every day, but I just always feel like I normally leave a care package or a meal and then on the doorstep, and then I'll go around a few weeks later. But they are newborns for a while, and they drop weight before they even get back up to their birth weight. So they are newborns for a while, and I do feel like sometimes loads of people can pack in the newborn visits, and then when dads go back to work those couple of weeks afterwards, then no one's visiting you, and you don't get and that's when I feel like you need the support. But I have had clients who have said, no one is coming in my house for 6 weeks.
Really?
Not grandparents, not friends, no family, nothing. And I felt like I really respected that, because I thought you were really listening to your own intuition and your own you're making choices that are really based around you and your family, which is a great way to start off. But then again, you can change your mind. It's like in birth. It's like if you choose to have a home birth and you change your mind halfway through, you can. It's your choice.
Anytime. Yeah. And that's the one thing that I love as well, is, you know, if for me, where at home the pain relief venue available to you is gas and air, paracetamol and TENS machines and things like that. You know, for me, I was like, oh, what if I need an epidural? That choice isn't there. But, you know, Julie reiterated to me throughout the whole way, she's like, anytime, you know, if you go into labour, you want to go to hospital, you go to hospital. You know, if you get halfway through and you're like, no, this isn't for me, you can go to hospital. It's your choice. We will assist you. We will take you in. And equally, you know, if something happens, so for me, my worry was when the placenta was taking a bit too long. There's a time limit on that, to which you would then have to be transferred in. They'd have to intervene. So they've always got, you know, like an ambulance or something on standby. So there was at no point throughout that duration did I feel worried about my safety, or, you know, safety of Magnus. And it was really lovely. The next day as well, they come and do the newborn check, so they're qualified to do that at home. So again, Julie came out and she got to meet him, which was lovely, and just really lovely to see her. And then just every day or every other day, they kind of gave us a call and said, you know, what time works for you? And they're really attentive in trying to, you know, try and come round so they could respect your wishes and your rest, or if you had visitors or anything like that, you know, they weren't just like, oh, we're going to turn up at this time. You know, it was just so lovely. And I remember with breastfeeding, I found it a little bit painful, because obviously never had a baby feed before. So I remember there was another lady who was on the team at that time called Ali, and she came around, and I was just sat up in bed just really tired, and this is like 2 days later, and she's like, oh, have you tried lying down and feeding? And I was like, oh, how do I do that? And she just said, if you just lie on your side, put the baby on his side, and just kind of bring him to you. And that was amazing, that advice, because then I just laid down in the bed, had this whole double bed, took all the covers off, all the pillows off, and I could just drift in and out of sleep, feed him, not have to worry about anything. And it was, you know, little gems of wisdom and things from them. It was just the whole process was just absolutely amazing. And, you know, if I didn't have my health conditions, I would have done it again in a heartbeat, because just, you know, the whole giving birth process, it was just really, really beautiful. And my heart really goes out to anyone who really wanted to have a home birth, and for instance they couldn't, or they got transferred in, or something happened, because, you know, to be kind of deprived of that, if you had your heart set on that, I guess that, you know, that's really difficult. So, but yeah, I just have so much love for that team, and just any midwife, but the home birth team, the Signet home birth team, just absolutely amazing, and just love them to pieces.
And I think it's I just think it will always kind of, your birth experience will stay with you for the rest of your life. And like I said, who you have there and how you were made to feel is up there. And yeah, we're really lucky to have them. And I do think, you know, throughout all of this, like we were chatting before and saying that, you know, it's not about home birth is the best option. So when I teach my hypnobirthing, and my birth preparation classes, I really try and get across that there is no right or wrong, it's what's right for you. And by doing that, it's informed choices. And I have done lots of courses with people who have said, no way am I going to have a home birth. And then I've gone, well, you know, that's absolutely, we can create calm and this positive and beautiful birth in hospital, and obviously share my own story. And you know, and then I think as they get more informed throughout the course, not necessarily about home birth, but about the whole birthing experience, and then they relate it to what it would be like at home and what it would be like at hospital. I've had dozens of clients that have changed their minds, and not because I've gone, you know, subtly like home birth is better, not at all, because I don't believe that anyone should be told, you know, the right or wrong way. You call it birth plans, I call it birth preferences, because I don't believe I think things go to plan or they don't. So yeah, like your preferences and they can change as well, and that's fine, and they're not kind of set in stone, and that's something I try and get across to them. And yeah, quite organically, a lot of them, once they've read the books and then started doing hypnobirthing, and they're just like, oh yeah, I think we're going to have a home birth, and I'm like, oh, that's great. And I think it's being informed. It's not, for me, I will never think, oh, I wish I had a home birth, because I just feel like I would have liked to, but I wouldn't have, because the house that I was in would not have been a relaxing environment for me. At that time, I'd only moved in weeks before, and it was just everywhere. And I just think, oh, I could have never have let go there. As in hospital, I really created that calm. As in the future, that doesn't mean that I wouldn't want to give birth in my home now, for instance. And I think it's not about kind of what you think you should want to do. It's just following that instinct, isn't it, of what really calls to you and how you think will support your birthing experience. And just being informed, because so many people just I've had clients recently who have gone, who've been like, oh, I'm not sure, and actually, because of this current situation, lots of people have then moved over to home birth because they feel safer at home at the moment because of coronavirus, and that's something that they wouldn't even considered if this wasn't going on, which is really interesting. So we've had discussions where they've said, I feel safer in hospital, and I said, well, that is the place to give birth. If you feel more relaxed in hospital and you'd be anxious at home, hospital, you know, that sounds good. And then it's just flipped, so ever changing.
That's the game, isn't it? And I think, you know, for me at the start, when we kind of started talking to people about home birth, we did encounter a few people that were a little bit negative, or just kind of like, I'm not really sure why you choose to do that. But I think it does come down to that, and that's what I always say as well. You know, I'm making an informed choice. These are my decisions. Please respect my decision. And you've just got to go with what you feel is best for you. Like you say, it's, you know, it's what comes naturally, what feels naturally to you. So, you know, absolutely loved the experience, and it was a little bit stressful. Like when I went overdue, our boiler broke, so we had no hot water. So for 3 days, I was on Twitter to British Gas like, please somebody answer my emails and calls, because obviously without hot water, I couldn't have had him at home. Well, I couldn't have had the pool bath. So, and that's what I really wanted. So I was really panicking about that. But that was all resolved within 3 to 4 days. But yeah, it was just, you know, absolutely beautiful. And I'd recommend the experience to anyone that, you know, is even, you know, interested about it. And just go and have a chat, like, you know, whatever you feel, just go and have a chat and make that informed decision. And, you know, amazing.
The other thing I would really say is, make the informed decision, talk to people, but equally try not to be swayed by other people's, I had a friend who had a friend. We all have a friend who had a friend. And, you know, it's Chinese whispers. Things get very blurred along the way, don't they? So I would say make informed choices that support you, and that's it really. And you know, if you do that, you're more likely to have a really incredible birth experience that you can look back on. Oh, Laura, I could talk to you all day, love. I know
I know.
we haven't seen each other in so long either, have we? It's like some major catch-ups. But yeah, I will pop links to support kind of to the Signet team and also to your blog.
Yes,
Yeah,
please, thank you.
perfect. You've got your birth story on there as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with us. That's so lovely.
Thank you for having me.
One last question: how would you sum up motherhood in one word?
Exhilarating.
I love it. I love the words that are coming out at the end of it. There's no exhilarating. Yeah.
I was going to say exhausted because I haven't slept for 3 years, but exhilarating sounds like, you know, it's been a journey, it's been a ride, it is a ride.
It is a ride, absolutely. Everything, yeah, either.
Yeah.
That's motherhood. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much, my love, for sharing that with us.